Oh. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
So I think we read this and we didn't discuss as much, right? Should I reread it or?
I think we should go through it again.
Okay. Okay. Sarah, to acquire this sacred spiritual jnana, one thing is essential, Shraddha, steady faith in the sastras and the teachers and in the acquisition of jnana. Without earnestness, born of faith, no task, however tiny, can be accomplished by man. Therefore, you can yourself see how essential it is for earning jnana. Shraddha is the incomparable treasure of chest of Sama, control of senses, Dhamma, self-control or patience, Uparati, mind control of withdrawing senses from sensory objects, Titiksha, vigilance or fortitude, and Samadhana, mind control by poise, each one a coveted possession. Shraddha is only the first step. You must have been yearning to imbibe the teachings I am imparting. This is very necessary. Along with these, you must also be vigilant. Do not yield to sloth. Again, you may fall into company that is not congenial or encouraging. To escape the evil influence of such company and to strengthen your mind to avoid it altogether, mastery over the senses is required. Do not admit doubt into you. Want of faith or steadiness is not as destructive as the venom of doubt. In its operation and consequence, it is like the tubercular bacilli. It is born in Ajnana and it penetrates into the cavity of the heart of a man, breeds there. It is the parent of disaster. Therefore, destroy this demon with the sword of self-knowledge or Atmajnana. Arise, Arjuna, encouraged in activity as of duty bound. Have full faith in my words. Do as I bid, with no thought of the fruit therefrom. Be a practitioner of Nishkama Karma. By that renunciation, you will get established in jnana. You will win liberation from change, from birth and death.
So last week we had a good discussion about Shraddha, the steady faith, and the doubting mind also. Shraddhavan labate gnanam, and then samshayatma pranashyati. These two things we took, and then we had a long discussion. I hope anybody has anything to do, you can ask the question. If it's okay with everybody, we can move on. Is it okay?
I am good.
Okay, then you can go.
So give up the idea that you are the doer and that you are the beneficiary. You can do this by dedicating both deed and fruit to the Lord. Then no sin can affect you. For you are not the doer, and the deed must perforce be holy. Like oil in the tongue, collyrium on the eye, lotus leaf on the on water, the deed is with you, but not of you. Whatever you do or hear or see, you remain unaffected, devoid of deeds, innocent of listening or seeing. The joy derived from the external world opens the gateways of grief. It is fleeting, but you are eternal, the very source of bliss. Above and beyond all this, the Atma Swarupa, inner consciousness, God itself. That is your genuine nature. You are unrelated to these activities that are called deeds and these consequences which you now mistake as real. You are not the doer, you are just the witness, the seer. All your perplexity has arisen from the delusion that you are the doer, from your ego and the sense of mine. Know the Brahman. Take up the task, but renounce the consequences. Giving up the fruit of activity is far superior to the giving up of activity itself. Karma yoga is far superior to karma sannyasa.
Yeah. Sai Satishan, please go ahead with any explanation you had to do.
Saira Manti.
Saira.
So I was just looking at it from what Swami says, the last line especially. Karma yoga is far superior to karma sannyasa. So in that regard, because Swami always says, like, being born in the world, we cannot give up activity in some form or the other. We are always engaged in some activity. Literally, the activity can be breathing to doing anything. So as long as we are alive, we are engaged in activity. So in that context, to be in the state of karma yoga, taking care of karma phala tyaga at any point in time, whether it is even breathing or doing anything, offering every time, the whole of the onus onto Bhagawan, and feeling that, Swami, you have given me an opportunity to do this action, but it is you who are doing it. It is just that I am an instrument, and feeling that, like how Swami talks about the flute, which has, like in the hands of Lord Krishna, like the Murali, which represents the body with the 9 holes. So being in that state as only the instrument, every time, Swami, I'm just an instrument. You're the one who's working through me, getting me to do this task, and please help me through it. Always being as the witness or as an instrument, I think helps the whole process to flow through seamlessly without feeling that I am the doer or because of me this activity is happening. So what we discussed last time in terms of putting the onus onto Swami, and every time every time the thought comes, we place it back at Swami's lotus feet or at the altar of Swami, and then keep doing that. It's more of like the practice thing that we have to keep doing. Yeah. So the lofty ideals are set by Bhagawan, but if we can take a few steps, like how the mother is always around when the baby is taking the first few steps. She knows that the baby will take one step and immediately fall down. Then it will try again, some more effort. And one day, slowly, the baby starts walking. And then afterwards, of course, the baby runs and it's busy with life and so on. But ultimately, that kind of attitude of looking to the mother every time and doing that activity and feeling that support is always there, I think may help us. So just wanted to share that.
Okay. The first sentence in this paragraph, the idea that I am the doer and I am the going to be the beneficiary. That is Kartrutva and Bhoktrutva, what we call. Kartrutva is the doership. Bhoktrutva is enjoyingship. So these two should be given. First of all, we are not the doers. Swami is doing. We are only instruments in his hands. So that kind of feeling when it comes to us, whatever we do, we are just offering it to the Lord, offering to Swami. Swami, you are the one who made me do it, and the fruit is also yours. So such dedication brings about a lot of, it won't affect us. No sin can affect you. That's what Swami is saying. So if you have that feeling while doing any action, that helps us to overcome that papa, punya, whatever it is. Beyond that, we can be unaffected by doing, even if we do some deeds. And that's what Swami is saying, karma sannyasa. But that means giving up the karma itself. Some people are ready to give. No, I want not to do any work. I will take sannyasa. That is not the attitude. As Satishan said, we have to do some karma, having been born here in this world. And the minimum that we can do is to breathe. So even that activity also has to be done. So we cannot give up any action. That is, karma yoga is much better, much superior to karma sannyasa. Sannyasa is to give up the karma. That's not the way how Swami, what Bhagawan has asked us to do. I think that much I can share it with you. Any other questions if you have, you can.
So in that word, like from what Brother Satish just mentioned, right? So karma sannyasa itself is not really karma sannyasa, because if, like you said, you're breathing itself is a karma. So you're not really doing that unless you are not breathing. That's when it's completely, right? So in that way also you are kind of dedicating that to God, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, sister. So because the highest form of karma sannyasa is
Merging with God, I guess.
Because as long as we have body, we are engaged in karma. So and what happens is many times at the level of the mind, we still have body consciousness, even at the level of the mind. So I think, so they say, like, after one moves on from this life, the body drops, but the mind with all its vasanas and all that thing gets carried forward. So in terms of the karma, that's why we are reborn again, right? Because till the mind with all its thing drops off and we stay at the level of the Atman, then only are we free from karma, in the sense free from birth. Or else there are, okay, I'll just tread into a little different waters. They call like Jivan Muktas. They are liberated while alive. And that is another stage. But for that, if you are like a Jivan Mukta, then it, like long time we had read about even that Amanaska, where the mind does not exist. So all that concept is tied again to karma sannyasa. But I think for the way Swami explains it, if we hold on to just giving up, just renouncing the fruits of action and not action, I think that becomes easy for us also to understand, rather than say like, okay, it completely get rid of the mind, become free of thoughts and amanaskara. So we cannot do that. But if we can take that thought and offer it to Swami, that becomes karma yoga. So because thought is also, thinking is an activity, it is karma, it is generating any of the things. So if we can, so basically at that point, if we can put, even whether it is breathing, it is thinking, whatever we want to call it, I think Swami is making it a little more palatable and easier for us to accept by saying that renounce the fruits of the actions, but you continue with the actions. Karma sannyasa will be, yeah, like you're saying, it is, I don't know how, means you have to be literally not breathing.
Correct. Yes.
So I don't know. So how that would play, or are we not talking at that level, but more at a different level of karma sannyasa? But literally karma sannyasa, because it is associated with any activity. So even breathing is an activity, thinking is an activity.
Yeah, I look at it as free of action. That's what I thought. So that's what I just wanted to ask.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that you dedicate all the fruits of actions to Bhagavan, there ends your responsibility, and you are completely free from all the reactions of the action. So that is itself karma sannyasa, I feel.
Oh, that way. Okay. So,
yeah.
So
You're not claiming any fruit for your action. So it is all up to Bhagavan. So there itself, you have become a sannyasi, devoid of all karma.
I think yes, Auntie. So I think Swami is saying, if you're doing karma yoga, you're jumping 10 feet, so you're automatically jumping 5 feet, which is karma sannyasa. Because I'm just saying, if somebody is able to like jump across 10 feet, it also means they're able to jump across 5 feet. So like jumping 10 feet would mean karma yoga, and jumping 5 feet would be, because in terms of superiority, I'm just trying to understand. Yeah, but what you're saying is true. Like if you do karma yoga, then I think, yeah, the onus goes back to Swami. So it's like, not only are you putting the fruits of the action into Swami's fold, you're putting the action itself into Swami's ambit. You're putting the action itself. So it's not, yeah, both go into. So it would mean something like, even if breathing activities is like, Swami, you have, I'm able to breathe because of the air that you have provided. Means that sense of gratitude, that sense of gratefulness.
Sai Ram. So what I'm understanding is, here, people like me who might think that, if doing any act will create karmas, bad or good, because I'm not at that level where I will dedicate or remember to dedicate every action, every thought to Bhagavan. So let me not do any action. Just sit back. So here, what I'm learning is Swami is directing, knows doing an action is much more superior, and dedicating to Bhagavan is much more superior than not to do any action and sitting back and watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm just thinking, like me might think that way.
No, actually, sister, if you can sit back and do nothing, that means we have reached the highest level, because the idle mind, right? They say it's like a devil's workshop kind of a thing. Because the moment we sit, the body is sitting, but the mind is racing. So the activity that needs to be stopped is the level of the mind, because I usually think, okay, I should take a break kind of a thing, and then I sit, but then the mind makes its to-do list, or it gets into some other kind of a mode. So that way, I think, like we engage in satsang or thing, because the body is, like now in this case, we are in the satsang. So the mind gets drawn. So many times the activity helps stabilize not just the body, but focus the mind. So yeah, so I'm just saying, yeah, in terms of like what you mentioned, that inactivity doesn't mean inactivity at the body, but yeah, at the mind level.
At mind level, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No, Yes, and I think Sister Shivani's question makes me think like where here when we say doing any karma or action, it's also our duty also, like, so basically at this birth, like, you know, we as a role we play, a mother, daughter, son, whatever, like we have a duty also, so we cannot say that I'm using doing karma sannyasa and sit back and do nothing there, because I think Swami is speaking in that level as well. You have to do your duty, but dedicate that duty, which is the karma, to Swami as well as the action. And so don't expect anything in that sense. I don't know, that's how I see it as well. But also, yes, from speaking from the mind's point of view, yes, we need to have like a, I don't know if anyone can have like a blank slate. I can't do it. And I have tried to sit quietly and rest, like Sister Brother Satish said that, but I don't really relax and take a break, because there's never taking a break, because I do get tired mentally when I'm taking a break. So it's not that easy.
Yeah, and two things, like Swami would say, change of work is rest. So in that context, I think if you are able to go from one activity to another activity with a conscious training of the mind and staying in that activity, I think that helps in that way, sister. Because many times without the true permission from us, the mind is all over the place. So if we are able to move from one activity to another activity, the conscious thing of the mind moving, I think, yeah, because Swami would say change of activities rest. So that way, in terms of just one activity, like wearing us out, maybe changing that would give a different facet and then give a form of rest. That is one. The second thing is, I actually heard or read this story where actually I think one person, he's one villager, he goes to the forest and he wants to sit there and then meditate or something. And then when he's sitting in one place, he suddenly sees that there is a fox that has lost two of its legs. So it has just fallen in one place. And he's wondering, this villager is wondering what's now going to happen to the fox, because it's lost two of its legs. It can't move around for food and so on. How will it survive? And then in the evening, he's surprised to see a lion brings the food for that fox in its mouth and drops it near the fox and leaves. And this happens for a few days. And so this person takes it that like, okay, God will provide me food wherever it is. I don't have to do any action. I will just sit in one place and my food will get taken care of. So he sits in one place and he keeps doing that. And one day passes, nothing comes. Second day passes, no food comes. And this goes on, and he becomes like very thin and frail, and he's almost like going to collapse. And then there's a passerby saint, I think, who's going through that place. And this person, he sees this villager and then he asks what happened. And then this villager says to that saint that this is what I saw. And so I thought that, like how the jackal got food, I could just sit here and food would come to me. Then that saint asks him, why did you think that you have to be the jackal? You could have been the lion. So it's just a perspective of how we view it. We can attain the same like absolute or Bhagawan even through action and doing it selfless action, like what Swami is saying. So it's which end do we see for every story? Do we want to be like the jackal, or do we want to be as the lion kind of a framework? And then, yeah, because many times when we read a particular thing, one part of it could appeal to us from the way we are, in what stage of life we are in. Yeah. So just wanted to share that.
Very nice. Because that's what it happens when we do study circle in our centers. And, and many times we have seen that whatever resonate with us at that time, we think this is applicable, but we forget to see the other side of the coin as well. Thank you, brother.
Sai Ram, in this paragraph, like if we take karma sannyasa to be like, say, like a young person giving up the world and becoming a monk or something like that, is Swami saying that that is never the right choice, or is that could also be the right path for some people?
So, like Swami would always say this, like initially person has 2 legs, then from 2 legs, he goes to like 4 legs when he gets married. Then after that, he has children, so 6 legs, 8 legs. And then Swami would say like, yeah, if all the legs are in one direction, then it is fine. But if the pairs of legs that keeps getting added creates a little bit of thing, of course, there's a change in momentum or in terms of the destination that needs to be reached. So in that context, sister, yeah, definitely if that person, if it is, because I do not know whether we can tell it generally, because for each one, based on their mentality, their karmic cycle and whatever thing, that of course will decide whether they can even take karma sannyasa. But what Swami is saying is, even if you take karma sannyasa in terms of renouncing the worldly actions, not even talking about breathing and all that, just renouncing the worldly actions. But karma yoga is more important, because there you would have renounced worldly actions at the level of the body. But what needs to be renounced is at the level of the mind, which is where the expectation of the fruits of the action come. And that's where karma yoga becomes far superior than karma sannyasa, because karma sannyasa is only at the body level. That person gives up the thing with the society and so on. Swami, in fact, tells the story of a person who takes sannyas. He's giving a discourse, and in the group of people who come there, one person happens to be his wife from before he took sannyas. So this person is not looking in that direction, and he's going on giving discourse. And then after the discourse is over, his earlier wife, she comes up to him and says, you still haven't taken up sannyas, because you still feel that if I look at this person, she's still my wife, kind of that thing. That's why you are not looking at that thing and you're trying to avoid. So that is where it is not at the body level, it is at the mind level. And so while what we are talking about sannyas is just dropping the actions with relation to the worldly context, I think we have to take it to the realm of the mind.
Thank you.
Anybody and everybody cannot take up sannyasa. It is the inner calling. A person has to have that inner calling to take up sannyasa, and then whether before taking sannyas also, whether he deserves is he the adhikari? Is he the right person to take the sannyasa? All things have to be discussed before he takes up sannyasa. So as we already discussed, it may be the physical activity, not involving himself in the worldly activities he may not be doing. But at the mental level, is he ready to take up sannyasa? To forget about just now in that story, that sannyasi who is giving a discourse doesn't want to look at the woman who was his wife, because he is still afraid that connection may get strengthened. So for sannyasis, it's not an easy thing to take up sannyasa. That's Swami said, you be in this world, try to do karma yoga rather. So that's much better than, it's a difficult path. Sannyasa is a very difficult path. It's not at all easy. Those who have taken up, they say that.
In fact, I remembered of one more story, Auntie. So there are 2 monks and they are coming to a river, and they see the river is in spate, and there's a young lady who is on the side of the bank, and she asks the monks for help to go across the river.
Yeah.
So one of the monk, he carries her on his back, and he walks across and leaves her the other side. This other monk is also crossing with him. And after they crossed to the other side, and this monk who was carrying this lady dropped her, and they both keep going, this other monk who just walked along, he's very perturbed, like how this monk can carry a lady and so on. So he asks this person, why did you do that? Why have you carried that lady and so on? So this monk replies, I dropped her there. Are you still carrying her?
Yeah, that's in his mind.
So it clearly says how at the body level and the mind level the
sannyas is taken up.
Auntie, would you be able to read the first few sentences in Telugu?
Okay. 1 minute. కర్మలను కర్తవ్యముగా నుంచి నా మాటల యందు సంపూర్ణ విశ్వాసము నుంచి ఫలాపేక్షమును దృష్టి యందు అందించుకొనక చెప్పిన కర్మలను చేయము. డోంట్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ ద ఫ్రూట్స్ ఆఫ్ ద యాక్షన్. అప్పుడు నీవు నిష్కామ కర్మవు ఆచరించిన వాడవు. యు విల్ బికమ్ దెన్ పర్సన్ హూ హెస్ డన్ ద నిష్కామ కర్మ. నీవు ఫలాసక్తిని వదలుట వలన జ్ఞాన నిష్ఠాత్మకముగు మోక్షమును పొందవు. I think it's not here. I think
I think just after that sentence, that's when this paragraph starts.
Okay. Kanti good. That we read it already. Yeah.
You're on the previous page, yeah.
Yeah. ఈ కర్మలతో నీకెట్టి సంబంధము లేదు. No. కర్మ త్యాగం కంటే కర్మ ఫలము కర్మ సన్యాసం కంటే. And that is the last paragraph. It is saying there is something difference is there here.
Nishkama karma portion was the paragraph before this one, right?
Yeah. Neeru Tamarak, that we read it last paragraph, didn't we?
It's in this paragraph here, the lotus leaf on the water.
Yeah, for water. And
so just before that, I'm just like, the sentence is just before that, she said.
Okay. సర్వ అనర్థములకు ఇది మూలము కనుక మొదట ఆత్మజ్ఞానము కండము. Dedicating both deed and fruit to the Lord.
Yes, that one is here, this paragraph.
Yeah. ఈశ్వరార్పణ బుద్ధితో కర్తవ్యమును ఫలాపేక్షమును వదలి కర్మలు చేయువాని ఏ పాపము కూడా. Yeah, no sin can affect him, the one who is offering the fruits of his action. That is there. And anything else want?
Oh, that's the sentence I was wondering about. So no sin can affect you, for you are not the doer.
Yeah, you're not the doer.
And the deed must perforce be holy.
Yeah, it must be holy. That's like the oil on the tongue is not here. I just checked it. Yeah. Oil on the tongue is not here, but collyrium on the eye, lotus leaf on the water, that's there.
Oh, okay.
It's basically saying just, it is, you're doing it, not
it doesn't stick to you. That is it.
Yeah.
The karma doesn't stick to you?
Yeah. If you have that kind of attitude that you're not the doer, the fruit of action is offered to the Lord, it is karma yoga when you're doing, then the sin will not affect you. Papa karma, the reaction of the karma will not affect you.
So the sin will not affect you when you give up doership? Is that right?
Doership, yeah. When you give up the doership.
As well as the fruit of the action.
Fruit of the action, yes, correct, both. ఈశ్వరార్పణ బుద్ధితో కర్తృత్వమును ఫలాపేక్షమును వదిలి కర్మలు చేయువాని ఏ పాపము కూడా ఏమీ చేయలేదు. It will not affect him.
So the only thing that makes our deeds unholy is us, like our own.
While we are doing the action, we always have a that ego which comes saying that I am doing it. Even if you avoid purposely also, again and again that thought comes to you that because we are embodied in this body, so we always claim we are the doers, we are the persons who are doing the work. So that kind of attitude we have to develop a lot with great effort. We have to develop that a lot. Always ego comes and says, no, I am doing it and I must get the fruit. Any action which we do, what is there for me? That is the thing which we always have.
So even if we give up the fruit of the action, let's say, but if you stick on, like hold on to that doership, it's my work or me doing it, that is also not good, right? Like, so
No.
Sometimes you can say, oh, I don't want the benefits of it, but if I still feel that I did it or I was the one in charge of it or whatever, and that is also fueling your ego, right? It's not, that's not, because you have to give up both.
So
Again and again, that thought comes again and again. We see that, even if you avoid it, that doership, we take up always the credit. Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
So, with great difficult effort, we have to avoid that. Yes, Kalyani?
Oh, so just by dedicating the deed and the fruit to the Lord, if we just do that, we will not escape sin. Is that right? By doing that, eventually we will get to a point where we get rid of doership completely. Is that right?
Get rid of doership completely and offer the fruit to the Lord. Both. The sin. Whenever you do some action, it has got its own opposite reaction. So whether it is good action or bad action, papa karma or punya karma, something will come out of it, So offer everything to him.
It's something like the bank account that I have in my name. I make that bank account in the name of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, because as long as I have the bank account, I'm going to have credit and debit into that account. And I'm going to have the consequences of that credit and debit and the payment, whatever associated with it. But if I change that account name to Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, then the ball is in Swami's court. So I'm just trying to say that I am the doer comes with the thing that I am this body, kind of a thing. So that if we always put it back into like Swami is the doer, he's doing it through me. And because if you say that Swami is the doer and Swami is the enjoyer of the fruits, then it is Swami's thing to take up whether it is good or bad. There is nothing of the small I getting in the picture. It's always the capital I. So yeah, if we can keep putting the onus back onto Swami, and Swami, you have given me this opportunity to do this. You please get this done through me, and you are the one who are the recipient as well. You please ensure that it is well received. And even in this process of doing this action, please ensure that all of it, I just have you in mind and do it, something of that kind. So the doer, doing, and the done or the receiver, or everything becomes Swami. And if that whole pipeline becomes Swami, then we are out of the game. It means we have successfully completed that bit.
Can I ask a question? I mean, just to the group and thinking out loud, that when, as a human level, if I am not thinking that I am a doer, or, the action of the result of my action is mine, somewhere along the line, I'm just thinking it might lead to very passive behavior, submissive. I mean, I'm just thinking how I will keep myself to the level to do my full potential, because as a human being, I might become submissive. when I'm thinking I'm not doer, I'm not really enjoying, or this is not the result of my action. So how I will keep myself, or should I keep myself to the highest level of my potential? I hope I make some sense. I'm just fear of that human can become submissive or passive by thinking, though we know that this is the right path, but how to keep motivating ourselves. But do you see where I'm coming from, the fear of being submissive or passive?
I feel like just for myself, I feel like when I think that I am the one doing it and the onus is all on me, like I am more affected by fear, like thinking, oh, okay, will this be successful? What will other people think of me? And like, what will happen to me? And all of those kind of fears come into play, and maybe actually prevents me from doing some action or taking up some new undertaking. But if I think that, well, it's only Swami working through me, and I have no attachment to the results of this, whether it turns out good or bad, you know, that's Swami's will and it's for my own spiritual good, then I feel that actually makes me more fearless in taking up any undertaking, and actually more active, because there's nothing holding me back, I guess. Like,
yeah,
that's it. I guess that's just one aspect of your question, I think.
Yeah. In the first case, what you were telling, Kalyani, that body consciousness is so much in you that you are taking everything on your own. I'm doing it. I don't know how I'm going to face the fruit of action, whether it's going to be good or bad, and I'm afraid what will be the result. So these things are all concerned with our own until we are in this body level and body consciousness level. So you are attaching so much importance to that in the first case. Yeah. In the second case, what you said, if we take up that attitude that I am not the doer, Swami, Bhagawan, you are doing it through me. And whatever results, whether good or bad, everything is offered to you. You take it up. So you become more fearless, and then, you know, you are more confident while doing the job. I think the second option is much better, especially a doctor like you, when you are treating a patient. So it is much better. I mean, it's good to have that kind of confidence in yourself while you're treating the patients.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like before, I used to worry a lot about my license, and I should ask these questions. I should cover myself to make sure, you know, I'm not like, I won't do anything that will cause me to lose my license. But now I feel like I just focus more on like, what does the person actually need, or what do they want, or how can I actually just help them? And like it just, like, I feel like it's a more, I don't have my own agenda. I'm just there to help. Like, yeah. I feel it's definitely.
And at the same time, Swami guides you exactly the way how it can be done. Many of our actions, you know, when we put the responsibility on Swami, he just guides us the way how it should be done. And, you know, your patient's recovery or not recovering, or sometimes it ends in some death or something. It's not your fault. It's not your this thing. The destiny of that patient will take him or her to that this thing. I feel so. My daughter-in-law always used to say that she used to worry in the beginning. She used to worry about the patients. Oh, the patient. She used to start crying also along with that the death of a patient. So I must have done something wrong. I must have done. Now she says, I completely leave everything to that superior spirit who is above all of us. He guides us and he is taking care of everything. That's what she says.
It is a big belief that you thinking that so, doing the work is not I am doing.
Can you come a little closer, please, Vardhan, sir?
Yeah, it would say like whenever you're thinking that Swami doing the work, it's not you. And that is such a big relief that whenever we are thinking we are doing, there's a big stress and we worry about it, very anxious about everything. But whenever we are thinking that Swami is taking, he would take the responsibility, we just the instrument whenever we think it, that's very big relief from our mind-wise. Like we don't have to stress out. But we have the faith of Swami like carrying us to the right direction. Isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. And brother, just adding to that, like, so Swami says, like, unlike worldly photographers who says ready cheese and so on, like Swami would not say cheese, but Swami would say ready, and then they'll click. He says, whereas with God, for God, he is always watching. So there is nothing like ready and then click. So if we feel that Swami is doing, that is one bit. And secondly, Swami is always watching, or means not from the sense that of fear, but I have Swami with me. I have Swami with me. I can do it in his omnipresence. Will also take it. It's like running a 100-meter dash with me carrying 100 kgs versus running a 100-meter dash with giving that 100 kgs to Swami to carry. I shouldn't make Swami to do my work in the sense, but the burden of like me doing that doership, which actually pulls me down, if that alone is given to Bhagawan, then the 100-meter dash itself becomes a joyful experience. And to sisters think that then is detached professionalism possible, in the sense that being completely detached from the action, but giving 100% to the action.
Yeah.
So that is what is the thing, right? When you're detached from the action, then the burden of that action, like what we are discussing, is like giving that 100 kg to Bhagawan. Then to do it professionally should be a lot more easier, since we have given up the doership and the fruits of the doership to Bhagawan. So, and of course, even in, of course, Lord Rama himself played a role when he got all this illusionary nature of the world. He himself stops coming out from the palace and so on. And there is this thing of Yoga Vashishtam, which is also called as Vashishta Geetha, where Vashishta gives it to Rama to just address these kind of things of, because Rama feels, oh, everything is illusionary and so on. So why to get into action kind of a scenario, the literally kind thing of what we are talking about. So it's as much as we are saying detach from the action, it is also that commitment with that professionalism to offer it to Bhagawan, because we are doing it for Swami. It should be perfect. Like if we are offering anything to Bhagawan as Naivedyam, we ensure it is like perfect. So at every point in time, we know that Swami is with us and we are attempting to that perfection. That will also drive that bit of onus to do the task better, not onus of taking the doership.
Yeah.
So one has to do the best they could, but yet detach from the action and the consequences. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's like, if you are sitting in Mandir, and we are basically, if we see Swami's darshan itself, sister, Swami is the absolute. But when he came out to give darshan, was he with a very blank face? He would give 100% to every devotee he touched. If he took the letter, if he took a kerchief, if he gave a smile, if he spoke a word, if he gave namaskar, if he gave interview, every second he gave 100% of himself to that person. Despite him being the absolute, he would have just felt, oh, this world is illusionary. There is nothing. And then we would have lost that bit of Bhagawan. to this day what we savor of his darshan. So 100% detached, but 100% professional. So with just that one darshan of Bhagavan, we will know what commitment is every day, every morning darshan, every evening darshan, right through across all those years, same energy level. With he comes and imagine it's not just one problem. There are thousands and thousands of problem. In fact, Swami, one interview, he told that everybody writes only problems and problems and problems to Swami. Nobody tells, thank you, Swami. Thank you for doing this for me. Being in that sense of gratitude. So imagine if you take Swami's one day, you will see that every time people are only talking to him, I have this problem, that problem, solve this. That means there is nothing. But then he never gets bogged down by hearing to that. 100%. And Swami said, I don't use my divine energy to do all this. So I think that's some leaf out of Swami's one day that we can learn from and try to see how much can we give that commitment.
And this, what you have mentioned a while ago, it made me think, and coming back, looping back to the action of karma sannyasa, that even when Lord take a human form, he himself perform actions. He doesn't need to, but he does. So as far as we are human being, we have to, or it is a part of our existence to do deeds.
Yeah. Bhagawan Krishna himself said, yeah. Go ahead.
Auntie, after you, Auntie.
Bhagawan Krishna himself says in the Geetha, I don't have to do anything in this world, or I don't have anything to achieve also. But I do my action. That is to show to the whole world. And as a leader, I have to be a role model for others to follow. If I take up that tamasa guna and sit in one place, everybody will become lazy and idle. So I want to show to the humanity that I'm also working in spite of, he has nothing to do in this world. No sin will attract him. But still he does. He does because to show us that we have to do our action. Sai Ram.
Yeah, and just adding to that, and what you said, Auntie, and what Sister was mentioning, him taking avatar itself shows how much involved he is for mankind's benefit. So not even after taking avatar, what he does, the very fact that God takes avatar shows like how much karma he is ready to get into for the sake of humanity, right? So the formless takes the form just out of the love aspect. Yeah. So if we can also do any activity just out of that love for Swami, I think that means we don't have to worry, is it, am I giving the fruits of the action? Am I doing the doer? I just do it because I love you, Swami. If that we do it, I think karma palatyaga, karma sannyasa, amanaska, jivan mukta, everything will just come because we just do it because we love Swami. So
out of pure compassion for the humanity, God takes avatar. Himself, he says, because of to show you that my compassion, I come down as an avatar and show you the way, how you should lead your lives. Sai Ram.
Going back to Sister Shivani's question, I think though that, when we are kind of following this path, it probably does make us less ambitious in a worldly sense. But I think it's probably because you don't, it's not as important to you maybe anymore.
And that's what I was thinking. Isn't it that makes us less ambitious, though I might have a lot of aptitude, or as brother also said, you do your best, you're 100%. So I can understand you don't mean that less ambitious. It's just the attachment is not there with the positions. You might do your 100%, you might reach, but you're not. Okay, perfect.
I think more than less ambitious, I would say more content with your life.
Yeah.
Yes. I would use the word content because you would like Brother said, you mentioned you do 100% or 110% or be in the moment and do, because that's your duty, you're doing it, and you're doing it for Swami because you've dedicated that to Swami, because Swami will never do 50% work, so you would do that. But you're not attached to the fruits, so, and because you're content, and I guess because you're content, you're more happier with life.
Yeah.
Can we move on to the next paragraph if there is no question?
Can I just ask one more question about this line here? Whatever you do or hear or see, you remain unaffected, devoid of deeds, innocent of listening or seeing. I'm just confused by that, because if you are doing and hearing and seeing, I'm not sure what it means by innocent of listening or seeing.
Let me read that sentence like on and whatever you do. Yeah. No karma chesina, chuchina, vinina, tan emiyu cheyani vade aguchunna vadu. Because you are in nishkarma karma. You are doing an action without any eye at the roots of fruits of action. So whatever you do, you see, you what is it? You see, vinina tan emiyu cheyani vade aguchunnadu. Bhakyamaina vishaya bhogamulu sukadukkamulaku dari tiyanu. The joy derived from the external world, that is, it opens up for the sukha dukkha. They are all very momentary. So, you are the Atma Swarupa. You are that Atma Swarupa, so you are not going to be affected by whatever you do, whatever you hear.
Before that, I guess before that is asking.
Yeah, that's what I read it just now. That's all. There's a sentence with collyrium in the eye, lotus in that. After that, I'm reading. Yetti karma chesna, whatever kind of action you do, chuchina, seeing, vinina, hearing. No, for thy name you cheyani vade aguchunna. Oh, you are not the person who has. You are not the doer there. You are not the doer there because you are doing at the level of Atma Swarupa. So whatever action, whatever you see, whatever you do, everything is at the level of Atma Swarupa. From the point of view of your thinking, you are not that small eye. You are that eye, big eye. So nothing will affect you.
Okay. So does it say anything about, on the English it says innocent of listening or seeing? Or it just says whatever you hear, see, and do.
Whatever you hear or see, that's what is here.
Okay.
Nishkama karma yogi yetti karma chesna, whatever kind of work he does. Chuchina, sees whatever he sees. Vinina, whatever he hears. Tanemiyu cheyani vade. He is not the person who has done this. He is not the doer of these actions.
Oh, okay. And that's the end of the sentence.
That's the end of the sentence.
Oh, okay.
You are getting confused because of the word used, innocent of listening.
Yeah.
I think you are confused about that particular word. Innocent of listening or seeing. Here, Swami, whatever the translation is, Tanemiyu cheyani vade. He has not been doing all these things. Tanemiyu cheyani vade guchunnadu. Yeah.
In that context, Swami would say spirituality is not castor oil face, putting a castor oil face.
Yeah.
So means it means we may think that, oh, if it is nishkama karma, if the person is not seeing, not doing, not hearing, then he will, means what will he, what will that person ultimately do, kind of a thing. But Swami would say it's being in that, like you're in the joyous state, so you always operate from that point, and people around you also will feel that joy, will experience that kind of joy. So it's not, he would always say, why are you putting castor oil face? You would never want anybody to have that kind. So it's yeah, because if you're joyous inside, that joy will also get reflected outside, because you're in joyous communion within, that will get reflected outside as well. So I was just saying from that, yeah, that it's not some very dull, drab kind of a thing where there is nothing happening. It is, in fact, it is complete activity, complete involvement, complete state of joy. So yeah, just adding to that.
You're seeing, you're hearing, you're doing actions, everything from that level of that big I, Atma Swarupa. So all actions are being done, but at the same time, remembering that I, the big I, that supreme being Lord in me, he is doing that work, then it becomes all the more interesting. Okay, next, I think. Time is there. Yeah.
Well, superior to both of those is Dhyana Yoga. I shall tell you why. Dhyana Yoga needs the support of Karma Yoga, and so Karma Yoga was first taught to you. Those who renounce the fruits while actively engaging in karma are very dear to me. They are the true sannyasins, the real renouncers. I have no affection for those who give up the ritual fire and desist from all activity except eating, sleeping, and craving for necessary pleasures, and behave like Kumbhakarna's kinsmen, idling and wasting their time. I am unapproachably far from idlers. He who has not renounced the pursuit of wishes can never become a yogi, however busy he may be in sadhana. Only he who is careful not to get entangled in the senses and who is unattached to the consequences of his deeds can become a sarva sangha parityagi, renouncer of all attachments. Dhyana yoga is possible only on the basis of this nishkama karma action. If the mind is not under control and amenable to one's orders, it can become one's greatest foe. So live in solitude so that you can master the senses. A horse without reins, a bull unused to the yoke, and the sadhaka whose senses are not mastered are all like a river without water. Such sadhana is a waste.
Yeah. A lot of things have been packed into this.
Swami introduced Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. Yeah.
Dhyana Yoga. Swami is used to introducing. Here, Sai Satishan, Swami means Dhyana is contemplation and concentration, contemplation and samadhi. That is the thing what Swami is trying to tell, is it?
Yeah, maybe.
Based on karma yoga here, right? So,
no. Dhyana yoga needs the support of karma yoga.
Yeah.
It needs the support. But first of all, Dhyana yoga, what is it? We should know.
Yeah.
That Swami would have told in the following paragraphs, I think, Andy. I'm not sure, but yeah. But I think like what you're saying, being established in that state, like what you mentioned, concentration, right, contemplation, and meditation.
Yeah.
That yeah, because by, like they say, like Lord Shiva's that third eye, which is half open, or even any yogi when they sit in meditation, their eyes are half open. So it's like always being at that stage where you can have the inner vision even as you see the outside world. So established in that state of dhyana, even while doing karma, because that's why Swami is saying, I think karma yoga was first taught to you because it needs the support of karma yoga. So since that very act of the external vision or internal vision is all based on karma, so I think basically on the lines that you mentioned, that's what even I gather, Andy. But I think, yeah, Swami should be describing that as well.
So the first sentence says, superior to both of those, that is karma yoga, karma sannyasa, both superior to those is dhyana yoga. So, but dhyana yoga needs the support of the karma yoga. That is, the one-pointedness, which ekagrata, which we need for dhyana, is, first of all, it requires the sense control, mind control, and shamadama, uparati, all those things which we learned in this thing. So those are very necessary for dhyana, for meditation. So those are the first things which we have to learn, how to control the mind, how to control the senses before we take up the dhyana yoga. But that's what he's saying. Dhyana yoga needs the support of karma yoga. Even though Swami says it, dhyana is superior to both of them, but it needs the support of karma yoga. That's what I understand. I hope.
Yes, and I also look at it like this here, because Swami says that dhyana yoga needs the support of karma yoga. And when you're doing the karma yoga, you are surrendering or giving everything to Swami. You're doing, so like if you're dedicating your actions to Swami and doing the action, you're constantly contemplating on Swami, right? Because that action is for Swami, and also the fruits is also for Swami, not for us. In that sense, you are in a constant state of dhyana. Basically, you are given everything to him, right? So maybe in that sense, it is meant that karma yoga is the support for dhyana yoga, right? And
for dhyana, sorry, go ahead, Narmada.
No, you're like along that. So while doing that, you're controlling your senses, mind, and everything. It's kind of working on it.
Yeah. In karma yoga, Swami has always said, you do your karma and the actions and which are to be performed, we have to do that, and then the fruits of action will be taken care of by me, and you think that you're only a witness. So all these things need one-pointedness before we take up the dhyana yoga. So Swami is suggesting that karma yoga is a support for the dhyana yoga.
How I am at my level of understanding, I guess.
No, please go ahead.
Is dharma yoga is where, as Sister Narmada mentioned, that reflection, contemplation, that is good, because people like us, they might contemplate, they understand what is karma yoga and karma tyaga, or you should not be attached to your action. I might have understanding, I might have a jnana, but karma yoga helped me to prove that whatever I have contemplated, because I might get an understanding, Shivani, listening to Geetha Vahini, and I might go and then sit back. What am I doing? What is my next step? How should I get better? And that contemplation I need to put in action. And that's why I understood dharma yoga needs the support of
Shivani, dhyana yoga, ma? It is dhyana yoga.
Dhyana yoga needs the support of karma. Yeah, dhyana yoga needs the support of karma yoga. Yeah. That if you are understanding your jnani, I might utter things and I might give pravachan to people, and I'm very eloquently saying, but I didn't put anything in action, my karma. So that's what I'm thinking, that dhyana yoga needs the support of karma yoga. Then only I can call myself, or not myself, but then only I am on the path of a jnana. I don't know. That's what I understand.
First of all, let us learn to do karma yoga first. Doing actions and offering to the Lord. Then only of Dhyana Yoga.
Oh.
Auntie, can you read that Telugu bit, Auntie, where Swami is saying, and just trying to get the flavor of the lines?
Dhyana yogamunaku karma yogamu yokka తోడ్పాటు అవసరము. తోడ్పాటు means support. కనుకనే కర్మ యోగమును ముందుగానే తెలుపవలసి వచ్చింది. That's why I taught you karma yoga first. ఫలమును వదలి కర్తవ్య కర్మ చేయువాడు నాకు అత్యంత ప్రియుడు. Those who renounce the fruit of action and who they are very dear to me. అత్యంత ప్రియుడు. అట్టివాడే నిజ సన్యాసి. He is the real సన్యాసి. అంతేకాని అగ్నులను వదలి పనిపాటలను మాని పరమ సోమరుల వలె తిరిగి నిద్రించి ఇంద్రియ విషయములను ఆశించుచు కుంభకర్ణుని సోదరులైన వారు నాకేనాటికి ప్రియులు కారు. There's all things of those who are engaged in sensory pleasures, who eat and who just waste their time like an idle person. So I don't, they are not dear to me. సోమరులకు నేను చాలా దూరము. I am very far away from all the idlers. సంకల్పమును సన్యసించిన వాడు ఎన్ని సాధనలు చేసినను యోగి కాలేదు. That is here I think he who has not renounced the pursuit of wishes can never become a yogi. సంకల్పమును సన్యసించిన వాడు ఎన్ని సాధనలు చేసినను యోగి కాలేడు. He cannot become a yogi. శబ్దాది విషయములందును కర్మల ఫలముందునందును తగులుకొనినవాడు సర్వసంగ పరిత్యాగి.
You said the previous line, సంకల్పమును
సన్యసించిన వాడు.
సన్యసించి means what?
అంటే renouncing the pursuit of wishes, he says. Here the sankalpa here means the determination to do any action. Is it the correct way of putting it? Sankalpa?
So that line, Auntie, if that whole line, if you just say once more. Auntie.
Yeah. సంకల్పమును సన్యసించిన వాడు ఎన్ని సాధనలు చేసినను యోగి కాలేడు.
Oh, that is like that pattudala, Auntie, like resolved. Like I think he means that determine exactly. So like Swami had told that earlier, that faith, and I think it's that faith in the earlier thing and the determination here. I think you need to have both, and that's what even makes you dear to the Lord.
Is he saying that we should renounce the sankalpa or the determination? What?
No. Swami is saying those who have not renounced the pursuit of wishes, it's saying. Here Swami says, sankalpamanu sanyasinchina vaadu. Those who give up the sankalpa. Those who give up the determination to do any action. He is not dear to me.
Oh, he is not dear. I think the English says it the other way around. Because it says in the English, he who has not renounced the pursuit of wishes can never become a yogi.
The same meaning, Amma.
So it's saying you should not renounce you should not renounce sankalpa? Is that what?
No. The one who renounces the sankalpa.
Okay.
The one who renounces the sankalpa, sanyasinchina vaadu, whatever sadhana he does, he cannot become a yogi.
Okay. The one who renounces the sankalpa can never be a yogi.
You see, to do any action, there must be a wish to do that action, isn't that?
Because in the English, it says, he who has not renounced can never be a yogi.
Yeah, that part actually, that who has not renounced the pursuit of wishes is not there. It is more like whoever, sankalpamunu. So it is like if they have given up on their determination or resolve, then they can never become a yogi.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the meaning of that.
That is in, yeah, and that is in line with the previous sentence, which says, I am unapproachably far from idlers. So basically, lazy people, yeah, that kind of a thing is what Swami is saying. You should have both the faith and the resolve to achieve it.
Okay. So the sankalpa that you should have is like the resolve to
do any action. If you don't have that resolve that you're going to do this action, he can never become a yogi. How can he achieve something like sadhana? He cannot do unless and until he has a kind of resolve in his mind that I'm going to do this work.
how do you have a resolve? Because I feel like if you have a resolve, then you have doership as well, right? When you don't have doership, do you have resolve or sankalpa?
But the sankalpam has to be done by you. Then leave that to God. Even the sankalpam at the level also, I think Swami gives that sankalpam to do any job. If we have that faith, Swami is the one who is giving us that determination to do any job. Isn't that?
And it's also like the two thorns, sister, what we spoke about earlier, right? It's you use this thorn to remove all the other thorns, and then you discard that doership thorn itself. So it's like primary school thing. We start at the level of saying, Swami, I'm resolved, not from the sense like I am resolving. Swami, with the help of, like, again, the onus back on Swami. Swami, with your help, I would like to do this, please. And then finally take it to a level where it is fully, because we will start with usually like predominantly is 100% me and there's no Swami. Then we move to 100% Swami and there is no me. So that journey, if we can start, but we need, even to do that, we need that effort, we need that resolve, or the same thing. The highest desire that I have is to be desireless. That kind of a same thing, that resolve.
And Swami, I guess he has said also that he himself has sankalpa, right? Like he has said that this is...
He is Satya Sankalpa. The moment he decides, everything is done. At his level, he has a Sankalpa.
And Swami would say it's like Vajra Sankalpa. So,
Satya Sankalpa.
Yeah, yes.
So what does it mean for Swami to have a sankalpa? Like because Swami obviously doesn't have doership or anything like that.
Not at the bottom. Go ahead, Satish.
Presently, so that was that slok asks Bhagawan, so if everything is a dream, then Swami, what are you part of the thing? So then Swami says, I'm the dream lion that comes to wake you up from the dream. So in that context, like Swami's whole thing, that sankalpa would be what? That same thing, like what Swami tells us, like if you're born, the whole thing is you should know not to be born again. So Swami's sankalpa would be like that, what he says, right? Divyatma Swarupalara, Prematma Swarupalara. His sankalpa would be, he would also bless, then Ashistu Asirvadistu na prasangani virmistunanu. That's what he would say at the end. So Swami Ashistu meaning I desire, like literally Lord saying that. And what is his desire? To make us desireless. So that would be the sankalpa of Swami. What would be his desire? To make us know that we are that Atma Swarupa as Swami is. We are the true form of love. So that would be the sankalpa of Swami. Or on a lighter vein, Swami would say, like, if I've taken avatar, I should not take avatar again. That should be the state of mankind. So I don't have to take avatar again. I'm just like on a lighter vein. I just wanted to know, like, Auntie or anyone, like, what are the ways and means each one of us use in day-to-day life to have that kind of, like, already I know we discussed about some part of it where we don't carry the burden, but then how do we do it day on day? How do we remind ourselves? Because so many times I know that I have to say that I am not the doer, Bhagawan is, but the action is so compelling that suddenly you feel like I have to do it. And so, yeah. Like, so how to stay at, like, always be the screen or be that kind of witness, be the instrument, any, just wanted to know if there are any.
I have to do it, and I should get the credit of it.
Yeah. That's the common.
Most things I should get the credit. Whatever I do, it should be, my name should be there. If your name is not there, there's a feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, my name was not taken, though I was part of it.
Yeah.
It's always there. I mean, I'll just share my thing. It's not easy. I don't think so I'm there yet. But it took me long time, 20 odd years, I would say, where I start my day with Mukham Karoti Vachalam, and I said, everything is you. During lunchtime, then I said, okay, whatever I have done so far until 12 o'clock is about you. And then I not finish the work. Of course, work is work, and then your household work. And after I finish, I just said, okay, whatever I have done the whole day at work, it's you. And before I go to bed, I said, it's every action is yours and every result is yours. So I literally visualize him, his feet, and give all my thoughts, even if I'm thinking about a project or the action with kids, with family, with relatives. I literally offer to him, and I have a very sound sleep. It took me a long time because it used to be in my mind, but now I'm able to kind of very sound sleep where I said, okay, it's up to you. And my next every day is a new day. I just think good, bad, ugly is all yours. You take care of it. I've not reached that, but this is a practice I am. I'm not there yet at all. But this is what I try my best to remember as much as I can.
Everybody goes through that stage in life. Sai Sathya, regarding the bhajan compositions, actually, I am telling my own experience since you asked. So whenever somebody knows that this was composed at a time, I am not the doer, as I said. Swami gave those lyrics and Swami gave the tunes to them. So somebody comes and tells me, Mani, your bhajan was, students were singing that day. I just tell them, please don't say that it is mine. Swami gave, who am I to compose? Swami at that time gave those words to me, and those tunes came to me only because he was the one. So with great practice, I have come to that level to deny, no, I am not the composer. I am not even though I forget it, people come and tell me, oh, Mani, this is your composition. Why did I do it? No. So reminding myself every time I tell people, please don't say that. Don't say that. It's Swami's composition, Swami's songs. That's all. So thank you. My personal experience, I shared it with you people.
And brother, as you ask, sometimes, the work you do, and I'm sharing mine, when work you do, though you try to be so humble, and that's where the mind, Karmalik is very culprit. You are eagerly waiting somebody to appreciate your, and when it doesn't come, like they don't mention, like why they didn't mention, and that is the time I have to catch my thinking, hey, hold on, where is Swami now? Why are you thinking about it? So, you have to catch your thinking, you have to catch your feelings, you're dedicating, you're trying to be humble, but yet deep down, you're looking forward that somebody should appreciate. So I think very cognizant about those feelings and catch yourself from time to time. It's a sadhana. It's a sadhana by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful sister and beautiful auntie. Thanks for sharing those, because yeah, I think like you mentioned, sister, it's so easy to, yeah, because though we say karma palatyaga, but it's like every time I put it to Swami's hand, I take it back from Swami's hand. It's like mine only. I don't want to give it. So I say I give it to Swami, but I snatch it back and keep it with myself.
Yes.
So to put it back into Swami's hand and let it be there, that is, yeah, so easy to lose sight. So yeah, thank you for that. Very, very nice.
Trained to think, expecting some appreciation, some kind of this thing to come to us for the things what we have done. But at the same time, every time reminding myself, no, this is not mine. This is not mine. Swami was on food. Otherwise, as a human brain, we are all very small. How can those things can come to us? It's unless Swami's grace is there. So
one other thing I usually catch myself, Auntie, is that also it's not even looking for appreciation or looking for that somebody to acknowledge you. It's also sometimes when I get a worry of some action or some activity that I have to do or something that I did, and if I did it correctly or not, or some sort of worry peeks in, and that's when I sometimes tell myself, why are you worrying if you have dedicated and you have done the work? And Swami's done it. It's Swami's work, and he's doing it. It's his thing. So why would you worry? You worry if it's yours. Yeah. Right? If Swami would do it perfectly, and whatever comes out of it is his wish, right? So that it's again it's a work in progress, but it's very easy.
All of us are in this journey. We're taking up the same journey.
Yeah.
I guess this Sunday satsang is helpful to me.
Yeah.
Look forward, because it reminds us from time and again that who we are, where we are, how should we behave. So thank you to all of you for this satsang. Thanks.
I think it's time now.
Yes.
Kalyani, 4:30, 4:28. Shall we close?
Yes, Auntie, you can do the closing.
Okay. Om Dev Shanti Antarikshagum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Aushadayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shanti Vishwe Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagum Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Om Shanti 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Thank you, Sai Satishan. Your participation is very much appreciated here. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Auntie.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.